Chapter 246 of Jujutsu Kaisen starts off with this absolutely insane cover spread of the heavy hitters in this final fight against Sukuna. Yuta and Rika take up a lot of the space, now clearly hinting at them joining the battle. Alongside them is also Ino, my boy Choso, and Kusakabe, who appeared at the end of the last chapter. And it even includes Meimei and Ui. Oh, oui. And they're both hidden away, tucked into the back corner. One thing to notice as well is that both of Yuji's hands now are covered in that scaly looking thing, showing us that it isn't just one hand, but it also could cover most of his body. But before we get into the rest of the chapter, if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe, it really helps my small channel grow. Also, I've made a Patreon and it's in the description below, support me if you'd like. Now, getting into the chapter, it starts off with Higuruma getting slashed and comments on his lack of battle experience while Yuji freaks out behind him. Kusakabe calmly breathes and creates his simple domain to protect himself, to which Sukuna even comments on the fact that they've all gotten stronger with their basic curse technique reinforcement and have reduced the amount of damage they've taken by weakening Sukuna's curse technique. Kusakabe thinks to himself that he's learnt not all of Sukuna's attacks are able to cut the world, and there must be a binding vow or charge necessary in order to activate it, and ponders on Sukuna's attacks, dismantle and cleave. He notes that the slash that cuts the world is dismantle strengthened with a broader strike zone, so the three types of attacks Sukuna could use to kill them is cleave, dismantle with zero range, and the slash that cuts the world, which would be impossible to survive. Kusakabe also finds the fact that Sukuna hasn't used fire like he did in Shibuya to be really creepy, but he guesses that he can't use it at that moment and it wouldn't be worth worrying since the attack is so powerful it destroyed a special grade cursed spirit known as Jogo, and I'm kind of happy he's getting mentioned here because after all the memes we've had since his death, I miss our beloved volcano-headed curse. Higuruma and Kusakabe check in with each other, and Higuruma apologizes since the death penalty confiscated the technique of the cursed tool and not Sukuna's actual technique. Kusakabe, however, says it's good enough and they should focus on finishing him with the executioner's sword. He bets his life and notes that it's unlike him to be like this. Sukuna then jokes that now they've built up their defenses strongly, so they must compete with their feet now. Choso goes in for a piercing blood and Sukuna proposes a contest of speed. As the piercing blood flies towards him, he suddenly disappears and immediately appears in front of Choso, puncturing his whole body one or two times with his hand, tearing through Choso's torso. Yuji rushes and grabs Choso while Sukuna flicks off the blood as something seems to be flying towards him. He parries the object back into the air, and we see Ino grab it, revealing it to be Nanami's weapon, who brings it down onto Sukuna once again. And we learn that the weapon is now imbued with Nanami's curse technique and hits Sukuna hard, even making him comment on the power of the blow. He realized that it too has the power of the 7-3 sorcerer now in material form. This tells us that our group of sorcerers managed to recover Nanami's body, or what was left of it, and perform the ritual in order to imbue his weapon with his own technique, which I think is just a beautiful send-off, and thinking about it now is more than what we fans deserve because of the amount of characters that haven't got a send-off. I also really appreciate that Ino has his weapon, and I know people are like, Yuji must have it since he was the closest to Nanami, but Ino is incredibly respectable and loved Nanami. He looked up to him like an idol and wouldn't even progress to grade 1 until Nanami had approved him of becoming one, so I think he deserves to carry the weapon. Sukuna kicks Ino away with ease, and Ino is left to realize just how powerful a foe they're facing is. Kusakabe and Yuji flank Sukuna from both sides, but they are enveloped with light slashes. Higuruma now rocks up and uses Kusakabe as a cover to bring the blade down on Sukuna, who unfortunately dodges again, cutting off just some strands of hair. Sukuna then grabs Higuruma and lays hands on him, asking if he can keep up. Higuruma gets thrown far over the battlefield, flying right past Yuji and through the rubble. Sukuna gives chase and Yuji tries to keep up while Kusakabe shouts after, saying not to leave Higuruma alone. Yuji, however, notices just how fast Sukuna is, even beating the powerhouse that is Yuji. And in the building Higuruma landed in, Sukuna jumps in to continue the fight, slashing and destroying most of it from the inside. We get a small flashback where we learn that Higuruma's technique may be effective in saving Fushiguro, and Yuji asks if it's okay for him to disclose his technique, but Higuruma says it's fine, and he goes on to say that anyone the sword cuts will be killed, but only if they have the death sentence. And since the judgment can distinguish between multiple souls in one body, there's a chance that if Sukuna gets the death penalty, it could kill him and remove his soul from Megumi. Maki and Yuta both agree that it's promising, and just look at how cute the couple they are staying together the whole time, potentially the healthiest relationship in the whole series. Now, sometime after that conversation, Yuji asks Higuruma if he wants to die, and he responds asking why Yuji is saying that, and Yuji continues saying that he can't use reverse curse technique, but he's still willing to go up against Sukuna. Higuruma goes on to say he's given up on the law and wants to deliver his own punishment, so he's intent on fulfilling his role and dying. Yuji says that he gets it, but he thinks Higuruma should come back from this. However, he interrupts saying he's already someone who can't look Yuji in the eye anymore, showing us that he's prepared for his death. We return back to the battlefield where Higuruma has now learned how to use domain amplification, which neutralizes Sukuna's technique, even surprising the big bad himself. Sukuna recalls that less than 2 months have passed since Higuruma's awakening, and he's grown this much in that short space of time. And so Sukuna was once again fascinated by the Executioner's sword and by the man with equal talent to Satoru Gojo. And the chapter ends there with the last panel showing this epic shot of our boy Higuruma ready to face off against Sukuna. And this is just 100% confirmation that Higuruma's talent and proficiency with cursed energy is equal to that of Gojo Satoru. And this just makes me wish we had seen just a conversation between the two of them. Why did you skip so much of the training arc, Gege? We could have had so much more meat on the bone in this fight. But nevertheless, this doesn't mean that Higuruma is stronger than Gojo, or that they're mostly equal in skill and technique per se. This just means that Higuruma's proficiency and talent when it comes to developing his usage of cursed energy is on par with Gojo's. It's as if we have these talented sorcerers with one or several abilities that rival Gojo and Sukuna's power. For example, Hikari's regeneration is on par if not better than Gojo or Sukuna's, and Yuta has more cursed energy than Gojo, and now Higuruma's talent is equal to Gojo. I wonder who else we'll see have a second awakening in this fight. It's now coming to the end of the video, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy you stopped by. My channel is steadily growing and I'm amazed at the support I'm getting, and I also have a Patreon now, so feel free to support me however you like. The link will be in the description, and I will shout out names at the end of each video. Thank you again, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.